Hey, gang, I had to get out of my sick bed to make this report. It's true, I have COVID. This is Randy Kirk. And if you like the content about COVID, please like the video. Hey, nobody's talking about this. I thought I got to do a video on it. Several complaints about the sales in China being lower than expectations and that there's inventory building up. And I've heard the same thing about Berlin, about Europe in general, that there are orders, not enough orders to take care of what is being produced or being made available for the European market. I think there's a simple solution and nobody's mentioning the solution. I also think that it is the thing that's holding back the stock. All this week, all last week, we've seen this up and down movement based on a little news here and little news there, and mostly kind of macro related movements, or at least moving to the macro, my special macro, the Cathie Wood stock macro. But in general, I would just say Tesla's been following the macro, certainly the NASDAQ. Why hasn't there been any FOMO at all about this coming event tomorrow, which I consider to be such a huge deal, and I'm sure you do too. And so I'm just going to suggest to you that there's an easy solution, and the solution is the Europeans and the Chinese are waiting until tomorrow. Many people have mentioned that the Chinese are much more interested than the Americans are in the possibility of some kind of change happening, some kind of discounting happening. The Europeans, I don't know. I don't have a key on that one. I don't have a way to be able to anticipate that. I haven't heard any news one way or the other. Maybe you know whether Europeans are slightly more in tune and waiting for special deals that might come out from somebody like Tesla, or maybe there's even rules with regard to how you buy Tesla in Europe that I'm not aware of. The truth is, though, tomorrow could have a big impact on pricing of Tesla vehicles worldwide. There are numerous ways that tomorrow can play out. One way, of course, is that the Model 3 could be announcing a Highland version. Connecting the dots even suggests that this Highland version will be substantially less expensive and that it will start shipping on Pi Day, just 14 days from now. That would be a big deal, and it would certainly cause people to consider whether they want to stay with the existing inventories of Model 3. Now, the Highland version, is it going to be the only version? We don't know that either. We don't know that there will be a Highland version, but we're pretty sure of that. So if it's going to be a fairly soon release and it's a lot different and a lot less expensive than the Model 3s that are out there now, that's going to have an impact on people's decisions. Moreover, if there's going to continue to be a Model 3 at current levels that is a better car that offers more luxury or more performance, then that also is going to be part of the play. So I'm suggesting that in particular, the Model 3 is being impacted by the noise around tomorrow and the Highland. On the Model Y front, it's a little harder to figure that one out if there is in fact any dearth of interest in the Model Y now in regards to either one of these countries, either the China market or the European market. One thing could also be that there's this, we have talked about this before a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, this differentiation, this spread between the 3 and the Y, and now there would be a spread between the Highland version and the Y. So if the spread is large enough, if there's enough of a difference between the 3 and now the Highland and a Model Y, then it stands to reason that some people are going to say, no, I'm going to go with a 3, I'm going to go with the Highland rather than step up to the Model Y. And I think this is going to be particularly true in Europe and again in China as compared to the United States, especially with the $7,500 deal from the Inflation Reduction Act, or whatever it's called. Anyway, so this would be my thinking. Tomorrow, if the information, if it comes through that there is a Highland and that the Highland is less expensive than the Model 3 and either replaces the Model 3 entirely or is a new version of the Model 3 that's less expensive, that is going to take a few days for the public to wash through the reality of that. Are they going to be made in Shanghai? Are they eventually going to be made in Berlin? In addition, are they going to be made in Fremont only and have to be exported to Shanghai? That'll have an impact. My best guess, Fremont first, because of information that we're seeing out of Fremont, that body parts are being strewn about the lot. Sorry. And second would be Shanghai. We would see them being made in Shanghai maybe soon, maybe sooner than anyone would suspect. And especially if it's a replacement, obviously, then it would. And then Berlin last, but maybe that'll be pushed up some. Maybe we'd start to see Berlin with only a Highland line starting maybe in summer. So that would be my best speculation. Nothing to base that on other than just seeing how things work generally, kind of like our buddy connecting the dots. He and I now are best friends. It's like that we both think the same way. Listen carefully, analyze what's being said, look at history, compare all of those, and then what is possible and what is likely. And sometimes it just turns out to be right. Anyway, that's what I think. I think that any reduction in interest right now in those two markets is probably due to Investor Day tomorrow, and that over the next week or so, we will see how all of it plays out and how China and Europe respond to any announcements that are made tomorrow. I'm going to try to do at least one or two videos today and tomorrow before Investor Day. This one has taken almost all my energy, so it might be a few hours before I can get up the energy to do it again. But if this was helpful, by the way, if the COVID is affecting my brain and I said things that were stupid, please say that in the comments. I love your comments. I try to answer as many as possible. And then like and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to have an announcement later this week that's especially for my friends, the people that follow me. I'm going to be offering a new product, and I think you're going to think it's amazing. And so anyway, I'll talk about that more when I have more brain power left. Okay. So, hey, as always, it's great talking to you.